All right, welcome to the Hutchinson County podcast. Today is March the 1st, 2025. My guest today is Greg Harms with Boomtown Comic Con. Today's episode brought to you by the High Plains Observer. Greg, welcome to the Hutchinson County podcast.
Thank you. Oh, thank you. Appreciate you having me on.
Appreciate you giving the time and everything. I know
Yeah.
you told me you come off a night shift, so
Yeah.
I very greatly appreciate you coming out and doing this today. Here we are actually on location at Starbucks.
We are.
And
We're underneath the digital billboard that's showing our ad.
yes, that's something pretty impressive. A lot of traffic here on 136 coming
There
in,
is.
so a lot of people be seeing that and hopefully attend the event.
I hope so.
So we'll go with your background from high school till now, where you went to high school and to that.
I'm a Sanford Fritz Eagle. I graduated in 1990. Then I went to Oklahoma Panhandle State. And then I went to Frank Phillips. And then I went to WT. And I don't have comic books. And do fine art. And then my wife also, she's a writer and does children's books.
Okay, let's hold up just a second there. It's not one if I'll give you that. It's quite a rivalry back in the day and still a rivalry. So yeah, Sanford Fritz Eagles. So tell us what else you have about your background.
Well, I'm an artist, and I do the comic books, fine art. I studied at Frank Phillips and WT. And then we've been going around since 2010. We've been doing comic conventions, my wife and I, and then we had the opportunity this year to start the Boomtown Comic Con. So we jumped on that opportunity.
Yeah, good opportunity since Borger refurbished the aluminum dome. It was pretty run down and bringing a bunch of different events and the Comic Con. But I've been watching it for the last month. It's gradually growing. You're getting you're getting more people, getting more sponsors, more guests wanting to come out and show. Vendors are signing up, wanting in on the action. So going to be a big event there, and we'll talk about when that event is here in just a little bit. So we'll go to the Comic Con. Let's talk about the guests that are coming in for this event.
We're going to have about 7 featured guests. They range from the Star Wars guests, Pippi Longstocking, Dragon Ball Z, and wrestling. Shawn Hernandez is the wrestler that's going to be coming in. Tammy Aaron is the actress who played Pippi Longstocking, and she'll be coming in. And then we have Mark Kidwalk Britton, he's played 7 different voices on Dragon Ball Z. So that's kind of cool for those that like the Dragon Ball Z property. And then we have Leilani Shi, David Ankrum, and C. Andrew Nelson, who are all Star Wars. David Ankrum was in the original. He was Wedge Antilles in the original Star Wars. C. Andrew Nelson has played Darth Vader in over 70 times over the last 12 years in different projects that they had going. And then Leilani is one of the first on-screen named Jawas. She's been in The Mandalorian and Book of Boba Fett and the other Star Wars shows.
A lot of people don't realize Star Wars, even though they've done the last movie, they still have spin-offs. I've seen them. You mentioned The Mandalorian and some other things. Just have to look at your streaming channels and see what those shows are and connect some of these actresses and actors to those shows. And a great thing, they're going to be out here in Borger, Texas.
Yeah, they are.
Big event.
They're going to do signing, of course, for a fee.
For a fee, yes. I mean, it's not going to be the crazy. Well, I'd seen Mark Hamill was wanting crazy amount or something.
Yeah,
it was like thousands of dollars.
They're not going to be that. They're going to be in the $30 to $50 range.
$50, yes. Yeah, Mark Hamill during the election, he was. I think the Democratic convention he was at, and that's where he was set up and everything. So, I honestly, on politics, I think anybody that's in that field, actor, actress, I think it hurts them. You're basically cutting off one side or the other. Don't say anything about your politics. Just make yourself popular, and you'll make some money.
Yeah. Well, I think that's with any of the arts.
Honestly. Yeah, with anything for sure. Let's talk about what all vendors are going to be out here at this event.
Well, and I have one more guest, he's a Marvel DC artist, Brett
wow.
Peoples. He's going to
Okay.
be here with his Christian line of clothing as well. So, and then the vendors, gosh, we have everything from 3D printing to artists to writers to novelists, children's books, pop culture items, video games, records, any collectible type items. There's going to be a vendor out here because we have 77 different booths and we are full.
You're at capacity for sure. I know one of the vendors I had actually seen was Deanna Watson and her husband Brett. They're podcasters there in Pampa. She's a school teacher for about 27, 30 years. I graduated with her over at West Texas.
Unfortunately, they had to cancel on
Oh,
us.
that's terrible.
They had to reschedule for next year.
Okay, that's
unfortunately.
Brought them up and give them a shout out. They're not going to be there, but no, that was pretty interesting concept what she had. Basically, she's the teacher and he's the pupil. And he has to go out and do a research project and report back on it, and that's their podcast and stuff. Kind of a schools teacher student type theme.
Yeah, we were kind of sad that they had to cancel because they were one of the first supporters that came in and said, "Hey, we want to be part of it."
We all in on this, and they kind of. Oh, that's unfortunate. We're gonna have a bunch of other vendors and everything.
Yeah.
It's gonna be
and they're one of the only ones that have had to change the schedule. The schedule had conflicting things, so thank goodness.
So this is the first year of the event. That would be correct.
It is, and it's a one-day event. Next year we're looking at a 2-day event. So, but originally we just rented the dome part of it, but we've had so much feedback online. We've had to rent the whole building, and then I had to open up a second vendor area because we've had so many vendors that want to be a part of it, and artists and all that. So it's pretty cool.
Okay, so I was going to talk about the history event. This will be the first year, kind of a launch, and a lot of events. You do it 1 year, see how it goes, and then it actually grows from there. After you just try to basically get it off the ground. So
we've had a lot of help from the City of Borger, from the Chamber of Commerce and the EDC. So that really helps when you get the support of those organizations behind you, and then just the people and the vendors coming in and supporting us, and pre-sales on tickets and all that. So that really does help.
Okay, so we got also reading on your event and trying to remember it. You're going to have a cosplay event that basically people will dress up in favorite characters. You're going to have that event. And what I seen this morning, you're going to have what we're using as a banner behind you here on this podcast is that's going to be there, and you can walk up on the red carpet and take your picture in front of this banner here that's right behind Greg on this podcast.
Yeah, it's kind of like all the Hollywood stars when they're premieres or whatever.
Big event. I'm going to have to get in on that. Get somebody take a picture and stand in front of that. It's going to be, there's so much stuff to go over. There's other stuff you want to add, what's going on?
You talked about the cosplay. We're going to have the West Texas Galactic Alliance there, which kind of brings us into our nonprofit, because this year we're donating 10% of the general admission to the Borger Area Learning Center, and that's the nonprofit this year. And then that West Texas Galactic Alliance is going to be here as well, and they're going to be raising money because they go around. They're a nonprofit group that dresses as Star Wars, and they go around raising money and visiting children's hospitals and all that. But they're going to be donating what they raise at the event to the Borg Area Learning Center, as well as the Boomtown Comic Con as well. So.
Okay, we're talking about this event, all the vendors we got, everything going on, but we hadn't talked about when this event is. So tell everybody about that, and then we'll go on to ticket prices and where to purchase your tickets.
Okay, it's March 22nd, 2025, here at the Dome in Borger. The general admission adult is going to be $10. Kids 12 to 7 to 12 are going to be $5, and then 6 and under are free. And you can get the tickets at the Boomtown Comic Con .square.site if you want to pre-order them, or you can buy them at the door.
Yeah, now the ticket prices up for an event, and the people that are going to be there, very reasonable. $10 ticket. Anywhere else, you're going to pay 20, 30, 50, hundreds of dollars. Very reasonable price. And then the $5 is the was 11 and under,
12 and 7 to 12.
7 to 12 age group on those tickets. So be sure and check that out. And there's going to be stuff on Facebook. Greg has been real good about putting it out there every day so people don't forget. It's not one of these, we put the event out and then, oh, here the event's here and nothing between. And you've been doing actually a real good job promoting social media.
Christy, my wife, has been doing a lot of
that.
Well,
thank you, Christy, for that. We'll give Greg credit. But
I can't take the credit on that.
I understand Christy doing a good job as wife on keeping it going and keeping it out there and keeping it fresh on everybody's mind. So we'll come back to you. Do you have a private line of comic books you have actually published or done? Okay, we can talk about that and tell everybody about that.
Yeah, I'm actually in 2006 I joined Third Empire Comics with Roman Morales III. Unfortunately, in 2018 he passed away. I kind of thought that was the end of my publishing. In 2020, with his family's blessings, I stepped into the publishing role. So I'm now the publisher of 2020 of the Third Empire as of 2020, and we have a line of comics that we're still putting out that Roman had drawn, and I'm coloring, and then there's some that I've created myself, and then I've helped others over the last 2 or 3 years do Kickstarters where we put out different titles. So yeah, we have, and then I'm working with Christy, who has a line of children's book, and we're working on her 5th children's book to publish. So it's a lot of arts and writing and publishing.
I mean, I've looked at some of your work and everything. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about comic books other than growing up, you had your Superman, Spider-Man, all that, and there was comic books, and then what I've actually seen on Young Sheldon, their comic book store, and stuff. Right. So here's a surprise question. I hadn't asked a lot of guests this question, but I'll throw this one at you.
Okay.
Guilty pleasure TV show. That's basically, it's nothing bad. It's like you got your buddies coming over and you're watching a TV show, but you want to switch the channel. Examples would be like reruns of The Golden Girls or some really sappy, sad movie or a series of something, maybe like the Housewives of Atlanta or something like that. So Greg Harms, what is your guilty pleasure TV show?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I'll give you an example. I will say Star Wars reruns. I mean, that Star Wars is cool and Star Trek is cool, but watching them 1,000 times, who cares? But maybe if my friends are coming over, I might go ahead and switch it to Sports Center or some other channel. Not really embarrassed, but maybe
one of my go-tos is going to be Tombstone.
Tombstone? Well, that's a classic movie, actually.
It's just Val Kilmer and all those guys.
That's one of them movies I could watch 100 times.
Yeah,
Back to the Future. You've seen the movie 100 times, but you start watching it, before you know it.
If it's on TV or if I see it going through the, I'm going to stop and watch it.
Stop. So totally understand that.
The TV show or the serialized shows of Star Wars on Disney, of course, or be a go-to. And then I've been watching one, SEAL Team 6. It was a TV show, I guess, on CBS, maybe. Oh,
I've watched that. Yes, very, very intense. And
I put that on whenever I'm drawing and just have it running in the background.
Some sound.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I went from guilty pleasure TV shows to our favorite shows. Then there's nothing wrong with that. It's good. Good conversation.
Sometimes they're guilty when you're supposed to be doing something else.
Yeah. You're supposed to be doing something, and you're caught up in a show that came out 35 years ago. Yeah. I totally understand. So, again, let's go over. We'll tell everybody when the event is and the ticket prices and the social media.
Okay, it's going to be March 22nd here at the Dome in Borger. Ticket prices for adult general admission are $10. For children 7 to 12, they're going to be $5, and for 6 and under, they're free. The event is from 10 a.m. to 6 on that Saturday. It's a one-day event only. We are looking at a 2-day for next year, though. And then just come out and see some celebrities, see a bunch of guests. There's handmade stuff all the way, 3D printing, art, get a commission, pick up some books. There's several publishers. There's some novelists. There's children's books. So a little bit of everything. And there's gaming. We didn't even talk about the gaming part of it.
We're going to talk about that. We got time.
We could. I mean, there's we have D&D one-shots that are being hosted by 1.21 gigawatts. We have Yu-Gi-Oh! Hosted by GameQuest. We have Warhammer and Magic. They're doing how to play events for, and that's day two cards and games. And then Pokemon Cup Challenge is going on, and that's hosted by Mushy Head Comics. So we're really excited to have that. And then our concession, we actually have a chef and his family that does bakery and different things. But they're going to be running our concessions, and they go by Wonder Woman's with a Z on the end. And so there's really going to be some pastries and some sweet goodness that you can get at the concessions, and plus some of the other concessions stuff. And then we're going to be having panels and everything. So there's a little bit of stuff for everybody at the event.
Sounds very good, Greg. Well, I think we'll put a wrap on this today. I appreciate you coming out here at Starbucks. It's kind of cool and a little breezy, so there's some wind noise on the microphone, pardon that. And I know I had a delivery order come out, and the girl didn't realize what we were doing. The door slammed, and the next one she come out, she was very gentle, so I appreciate them being hospitable. And we was talking before the podcast spot. Starbucks has a rule about loitering. I can't even say that word, but hanging out when you don't buy nothing. They don't want people to do that. They did, now they don't. So, but they're very gracious and let us do this interview this morning on the Hutchinson County podcast. So thankful to Starbucks, and give y'all a shout out for what y'all do. I know they're in the news a lot. One side of the spectrum and the other. So just whatever. Keep out politics. Just make good coffee and go from there.
Right.
So. Well, that's a wrap on this week's episode. Be sure to check out Hutchinson County Podcast on Facebook and now YouTube, and on High Plains Observer Facebook page and highplainsobserver.com. So, for myself and Greg Harms, we are out of here.